All right, guys. So first of all, I appreciate you, setting this up. Hopefully this will be beneficial both, for you guys too. I know it will be. So we'll definitely get to some of your questions. But why don't you guys start with just telling me a little bit about, how did you guys get started in the painting business?
Yeah, definitely. Well, see, he started in the painting business first, actually. So he had a painting company up in Vale for a while, and I used to paint for him, actually, back in like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, about 10 years now.
And then, I did a little bit of commercial renovation and everything as well. But really what happened was we both kind of became available at the same time from our other jobs, and we're like, that's kind of a sign. And then we started this almost just a little over 1 year ago from today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We had our initial call first. Bruce and I were both on the call with you. I don't know if you remember it last year, but we kind of just went through a few questions, and we're kind of just trying to see what Painting Business Pro is all about. And we got those answered, signed up with you, and we just started moving.
Yeah. So what's the last year been like for you guys?
Really good. So we started March 1st officially of last year. And first month was, just setting things up, to be honest. We didn't even start our first project until April. And within 9 months, we had done $500,000 in business.
Great. So,
yeah, really good. And then this year is kind of crazy how fast we're going.
Well, just so I know, how you guys are doing, but for anybody who doesn't know, what's this year been like?
So so far, the first couple months are slow just because it's January and February and nobody's painting. But after that, I'm selling consistently $20,000 to $30,000 a week just by myself.
Yeah.
So then having him come on as a salesperson probably soon too. We'll talk about that later. What makes most sense there. That'll double that. So we're on track right now to do $1 million this year, and then really just managing that growth. We hired an assistant as well, so we have her on board, and then looking to hire our next employee hopefully in the next month or two.
That's amazing, man. And what, Matt, what have you been, how have you guys worked together from the start on this?
Yeah, so I do the sales and marketing because that's my background.
Yep.
I do digital marketing and sales for quite a few different marketing firms as well. And then he does the production side because he's more of the painter.
Great. Rock on. Okay, cool. We'll get to the dynamic, what you guys best way to move forward with your growth and everything.
Yeah.
What has helped? I know, Bruce, I know you did. Matt, did you go through any of the micro life stuff alongside?
Yep. I was alongside Bruce the whole entire time.
Okay.
So
nice. So what, so that's basic. How would you guys describe that course? And then what'd you get out of that? What'd you get out of Painting Business Pro? How has that actually helped you guys along the way?
Dramatically. Painting Business Pro, we refer to your videos and everything that you've provided with that program as far as it acts as a tool for guidance for us. It's not just watching the video once and kind of going and doing your own thing. It's kind of reiterating those videos into our routine. For instance, even Bruce, when he has a week with sales, he kind of refers to all of your sales videos and he goes, oh man, if I would have listened to Barstow and kind of not done my own thing and veered off the path, I would have been fine. And, he'll get into a slump or something and he'll watch the videos and he's right back on top again. So
awesome.
That's certainly been super beneficial to us. As far as the other stuff that's involved with Painting Business Pro, we have taken the majority of your program and just implemented it for us and kind of made it our own. And it's we're very, very thankful for all of the information that you've provided in that program. I think we'd be on a totally different path to the far left overall. I don't think we would have been nearly as successful as we are now.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are killing it. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, and then like you said, referring back to the videos, anytime I feel off on sales, I just go back and I watch one, and then I just really I don't know what it is, but it's not just the system. It's also the way you present it that makes it easier to follow, which I don't know. I had 1 week where I sold $800, watched all the videos. The next week I sold 20,000. So
not bad.
Really helps. Yeah. And then as for my creative life, I've heard a lot of those concepts. I read a lot, so I've heard a lot of those in other books and everything, other sources. But yeah, I mean, all of it together is just honestly like life changing. It's not just applying to the business either. Like
Yeah.
I was listening to one of your videos the other day, actually, which is a good example of the 3 phases of growth. And you had said the goal is not to work 60-hour work weeks. The goal is to like enjoy the life that entrepreneurship provides. And I like totally forgot about that. And I've been working like 70-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well now I need to switch. Like I have all these other goals for my life, which I kind of prepared in that program. And I'm not hitting any of those because I'm so focused on the business. So just kind of making sure that your whole life is well-rounded. Time management is huge. I have the budget every single month, so I know every penny that I spend on everything. And then accountability, that's one of our core values for our company. Learning from mistakes, all of it's applicable, like literally
Awesome.
every day. So
That's awesome. Quick question that I know like a lot of people ask, and I'm actually curious your guys' take on it. I have lots of free content available. What's the difference between all of that and the course?
Yeah. So I remember that's how I found you, was your YouTube channel. And like I said, I've been in sales and marketing for a while. So you see a lot of the people that are pushing programs that are like, we can increase your sales by this much, or, we'll show you how to get more jobs and blah, blah, blah. And when I watched all yours, like I said, I have like an education in this. I went to school for marketing. I've had formal sales training, all that. Just everything you said, I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. And so, I mean, those videos alone are valuable. But what the difference that I see is like, you talk about like the theory of it, and then in the program, it's like, here's how you actually do it. And like we have a system and process for everything now that, if you don't like, winging it can get you pretty far. But to actually have a system or a company that runs itself, you have to have systems and processes in place. Otherwise, you're just going to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, which we've made a lot of mistakes, don't get me wrong. But every time we do,
around that. No way around that.
Right. Every time we do, instead of just fixing it, we then, okay, how can we prevent this in the future? And that's like the biggest takeaway. So,
and also I think we're both working towards kind of living a lifestyle that's similar to yours, in the sense that, okay, you put so many hours into this business and this business and this business, and you're running them all at one time. Obviously, it's persistence, it's patience, it's all of these things that come together to get to that goal specifically. I know Bruce and I want to get all these systems, everything in place, so that way one day we can, do something that's very similar to your system.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. Anything else on, thanks for sharing all that. And then is there just anything else that, is worth sharing, before we get into all your guys' questions?
Think for a second. I mean,
how are your margins? Are you guys being profitable?
We're definitely
Yes.
profitable. Yeah. So it's not quite where we want it to be. One thing that we actually went through this today, we've taken the whole day today to kind of take a step back and look at what's going on.
Yeah.
As a whole, and we had like a big financial review, and there's a few things that are hurting the margins, and one is subcontractors and having to negotiate with them, and they're always asking for more money. So we've gotten rid of one that was a big problem, one subcontractor.
What percentage have you been paying to subs?
We pay 50%, but sometimes that turns into 55 or a mistake.
You know what your average is?
Yeah. So so far, last year ended up being 28% for the whole year.
Net? Like net profit?
Yeah, net profit after tax too. So
got it.
Then also,
that's great.
Yeah. So then this year,
that's what I usually tell people in phase one, is you're at like 30-35%.
Right. And so this year we're at like 25%, and the majority of the problem there, I have it up on the wall, was we're paying ourselves too much. We're paying too much in taxes because we're paying ourselves too much, and then just battling margins with subs. So we've worked on negotiation a lot.
So that's 25% net profit after paying yourselves salaries.
Yeah.
No, that actually includes the salary too. So we're 25% after. So
So
20.
what are your expenses there? You got subcon, because I think it should be a little higher than that. So I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's what the problem is. I like.
Do you know what percentage is to subcontractors and materials?
Yeah. So far this year, 55% to subs and materials.
Okay.
Our overhead is 7.2. Our
Okay.
marketing is
What
11.
is the overhead that's 7.2?
So yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what's creating that problem.
Well,
Last-
what is it? Like, what's the actual expense that you call overhead?
so basically everything. I mean, we have everything broken out. It's like vehicle expenses,
Got it.
bookkeeping.
Okay.
Our cell phones are on there.
Okay.
Office expenses,
Yes.
gas. Those are the main things, the larger numbers. And then, so last month though, our percentage was 3.9%. So I think part of the problem is that the first 2 months of the year we were only bringing in like $15,000.
Yes.
So we're still spending $3,000.
Okay. Got it. Got
Even
it.
yeah,
And then so 55% to sub, 7% to office. So that's now we're at 62.
yeah.
And then marketing.
11.5 total for marketing. Last month was 10.
That seems high too. Do you know? Have you broken out your different sources and returns by source?
Yeah,
Yes.
so that we use Craft Jack was our largest one last year, and they're pretty affordable.
Who?
Craft Jack,
Got it.
and then this year, Thumbtack is just taken off for us. Like I'm booking out like 2 weeks on Thumbtack, but their leads are like $75 to $90.
Interesting.
So that's part of the issue, but we do have a better closing rate with them too because people are finding our profile.
What you want to be looking at on all that though is because there's a lot of ways to generate that business. What's the percentage on revenue of Thumbtack, for example? Do you know?
Right. Yeah, like the ROI and
Yeah. So like we spent 1,000, we booked 10.
Yeah.
So you want to see if you're at 10% on marketing, you want to see which ones are at 15 and which ones are at 5.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those things like I know I should do and haven't done yet. So
I would definitely do it just so knowing it's not like you're going to need to axe them, but then you know which ones you need to optimize.
Yeah.
And then you got to look deeper and be like, okay, so if we're at 15% on, let's say it's Thumbtack, then is it because my lead conversion is low or my sales rate is low or my job size is low?
Yeah.
And if I have a low job size, I could just be like, cool, all the other metrics are great. I just have a $2,000 job size. If I moved that to 4,000, it would go from 15% to 7.5. So I'm going to just get pickier on which leads I bid on.
Right.
So you can, once you know those metrics, you can tweak and tinker. So now that's 72%, or
Right.
73% of total expenses. And that leaves you at 28. So there's probably a couple other.
It's about 27%, and then the other thing is the taxes because we were paying ourselves like a $75,000 salary when the year started because we did so well last year.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we want some of this money in our bank account.
Well, and taxes is kind of like I would say you're at 27% profitability then,
Yeah.
and then you're taking the profit and then you're paying your taxes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just from how I would measure it,
Right.
because when your business gets really, really big and you're getting taxed at 40%, you're making a 20% margin. You would say I'm only making 12%, but you're not really making 12%. You're making 20. You're just in a high income bracket.
Yeah, and I actually didn't even realize that until I sat down and wrote all this out today. Because even with like the master business plan, it doesn't quite have that broken out the same way. So
Are you using the detailed one or the basic one?
the detailed one.
Detail.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Got it. That gives me a good picture of the business. And so you guys are great though. I mean, you're on pace to make $270,000 in your second year. So
Yeah.
pat yourself on the back. And there's room to improve that by I would say probably 7%, like 70K, just by adjusting your marketing costs and adjusting your subcontractor deal. What's your sales rate on the year?
40%.
So you probably will. Part of this is probably going to be raising prices a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I know you can still get better at sales.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've improved dramatically just from last year to this year, and I've been doing this for 6 years now. So
yeah, so we can talk about that. But anyways, I know you guys have questions, so let's go on your questions because I could take up like an hour on.
Yeah, I know. So could we. So our main question is, this is our thought, and I just want to get your feedback. So our marketing right now, we pretty much are running at like 50% capacity because I'm booking out like 2 weeks, and then I talk to them and they're like, I need the job done within 3 weeks. And if I'm not going to meet with you for 2 weeks, I'm not going to wait for just you. Some people will because we have good reviews and everything. But our thought process is that, so Matt's doing production right now. We both feel that he would be better in sales than he is in production. It's just not really his skill set. So our thought was that we would have him start doing sales with me and hire a production manager and bring them on. So I guess, does that make sense, or would you suggest hiring a salesperson? Or
that makes sense.
All right, and then
in my opinion, it's easier to find a good production manager than it is a good salesperson.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Because Benji had a different thought. He was saying, go with the salesman way before you go with the production manager. Obviously, you don't ever change if you're just fearful of that change and you stay the same way.
Yeah.
Nothing ever is going to be coming out of this. So our thought is to switch the roles. My fear is that someone in the production managing production is that they won't have that eye for detail. They won't be able to have that customer, give the customer that experience that they're looking for overall, and get that 5-star review. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that seamless job, someone that's there for the customer when they're, when things get haywire or whatever, just kind of being there for them. I hold their hand on every opportunity that I need to. To a limit, of course. But, there's only so many hours in a day, of course, but, I handle all those problems and, make them go away. If something's going wrong, we fix that problem. And then towards the end, they're happy. They were willing to give us a 5-star review. We came from nothing to an exceptional review at the end, and they're super stoked. So,
yeah, look, and that is a challenge.
Right.
Look, that's why most companies don't grow beyond the owners running the companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's hard to let go of that piece, knowing that that's really one of our best marketing sources. Isn't these paid marketing sources? It's actually referrals.
Yep.
And word of mouth, because we have awesome reviews. People are like, I can't believe, we've actually had people, you've probably had this experience too. They're like, I cannot believe how good of an experience it was. I've hired 1 million contractors and I've never had an experience like that before.
Yeah.
So yes, I get that that's a risk, and so is having a new salesperson, because that's what drives the whole company. So which is more riskier?
Look, it's neither. It's not. I wouldn't look at it like which one's more risky. In the big picture, you're going to hire both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's not about that. It's more like Matt wants to get into sales, and there you go. That's your answer. I think it's a preference thing than anything else. And you can get the sales, but the biggest trap that you guys could fall in is a lack of patience.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you have this pressure.
I want to keep the momentum.
We're so booked out. We've got all this work. We need to get to the work. There's money to be made. Oh, no. It's like,
that's common.
And so then what you got to be careful of is that you hire the wrong person, or you talk yourself into hiring somebody. When people do interviews, they don't look for the perfect fit. They talk themselves into someone.
Yeah.
You find someone who's got a few of the right things, but there's the concerns, and you literally talk yourself into not worrying about those concerns.
Right.
That'd be one issue, is just in the hiring right away.
Yeah.
And
that's actually our two next questions, is exactly what you're saying, is how do we make the time to hire and train somebody? And then
take a step backwards to take steps forwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
You slow down to speed up. I'm doing it with my business partners, and they're starting to take off because we have to get the foundation right. There's no, you got to look like you saw the value of integrity as an individual. The integrity of your business has just the same level of power. And if you do it with integrity, it'll go nuts, because right now Matt's doing production. Yeah. You're selling 20 to 30K a week. Look, he just keeps running production. You might even scale back 4 estimates a week on sales. Okay, so you book 20 grand a week instead of the 30 for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
while you're bringing this person on or being really selective with recruiting or whatever. And okay, cool. Yeah, it costs you 30 or 40 grand in missed opportunity sales. But when you get the right person, and then you take Matt takes 4 weeks to onboard them, that instead of jumping over into sales, okay, that's going to cost you another 60K in missed sales. So you're 100K back in sales. But if it's the right person, you guys can go to 40 or 50K week in sales.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even think that would be a good idea, because you're going to need a second production manager to do 50, 60K week in sales.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, that was actually one of our questions too, is how much can one production manager actually handle?
$1 million?
More than $1 million, but it depends on other factors. So, and it depends on quality. It depends on who you hire. Like a really good PM could manage $1.5 million and do it very, very well if they're a very highly capable person.
Yeah.
And then it also depends on how you guys handle color selection and how involved do you want your production manager to be on sites. And you know what I mean? So there's those considerations. So like we scaled back and we're like, hey, we're going to bring on production managers and we want them to go for like 30K a week, which is very little. And that's with us having a color consultant who does everything in the whole color stage. All they got to do is like run the job, but they're doing pre-job walkarounds, job site check-ins, final walkarounds. They're doing above and beyond stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm focused on what Matt's talking about, which is that above and beyond, that really amazing touch point and experience for the customer.
Yeah.
So it's a balance, right? I could get a PM to produce 2 million, but my quality is going to suffer.
Yeah.
I'd rather I believe, and I used to do that. I used to have an incentive for PMs to like, you have to get good reviews and you have to produce as much as you can. And that's what your incentives are.
Yeah.
But the problem is they do good enough to not cause problems, but they aren't going above and beyond. Mm-hmm. And I think a production manager who produces 2 million, I can pay them the percentage of production on that 2 million.
Right.
Or if they produce 1 million, but they turn every customer into another customer, that's more valuable to me. I can literally pay that guy more money because he's actually creating more value for the company because he's driving production and driving sales.
So that's my next question actually, is how do you structure their pay?
We're paying people, our comp plan right now, the 3 guys I just brought on, $56,000 base pay, $200 a month in gas and phone. I'll send you get this recording. So you,
okay, cool. Thank you.
56,000 base pay, $2,400 a month phone and gas, health insurance. And then they've got quality bonuses. So every $100,000, they need to hit a certain quality mark and a certain response rate from clients to get their $1,000 quality bonus. And then they're getting a 4% commission on every referral they generate. Okay. So that's the big one. That's where they can make, if they refer us 50 clients from the 200 clients they produce, they make an extra $10,000 bonus. So, these guys have a chance to make like 75, 80K in a year, if they do a good job. And that's with only producing $1 million.
Nice. Okay.
Right. And
yeah,
then what that puts it at is, let's say they make 80 grand. Let's say 10 of that is referrals. Well, that's a marketing expense. So now they're actually making 70K on the production. But because 10K of that was quality, those are good customers. So if I do my job remarketing to those clients, that's kind of a marketing thing too, because I'll be able to remarket for free and keep them as clients and get more referrals later.
Okay.
And so it kind of brings it down, like what they're really being paid as a PM is like 60 to 65K on $1 million.
So
and then we'll start scaling it back up to 1.2, 1.4.
Is that a salary then of 50? 56, I think you said. Okay. And
I did that because I can find better people.
What about so for us, we're kind of predicting that we're going to do $1 million. It's hard to know because it's kind of, unless I forget how to do sales, we should be okay. But there's a risk there that if we don't hit that, what if we only end up at 750?
Yeah. So start with a 35K base and higher bonuses.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So you could literally say so we say it's 56K, but you got to produce $1 million and then we'll bonus you for the next 200 grand you produce on top of that. You could say $35,000 base pay for 700K and then a $4,000 bonus for every 100K after that.
That'd be awesome.
Up to 1.1 because I don't want you to producing 1.1 because I don't want to incentivize you to just crush as much as you can. I want you incentivized for quality first, volume second.
Okay. Cool.
And then, so patience in hiring, patience in training
Yeah.
is the key here. Smarts, because here's the thing. If you try to shortcut this because you're worried about that missed opportunity shit, you're going to end up redoing it, and it'll cost you the opportunity cost twice.
Yeah,
instead of one.
that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
So like, this is a quick question, but like, would you hire a friend?
If they're the perfect fit.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we'll do the interviews and have more than just our friends as the candidates, of course.
Yeah.
And then I just have like, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I have a couple other good
I just have another call in 3 minutes, so we'll just go fast.
Cool. So would you say that having the 50% gross margin is like the most important part to hitting all these financial goals?
Yeah, because it's 5%. And you definitely don't want to bring on a production manager until you have fixed that.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're going to start to believe the 55% is what's fair, and they'll be the bottleneck to getting that down to 50%.
100%.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then the other question is just like, how do you cope with the stress of the day if like everything goes awry? Like actually more like when you were running the company, like in it, when shit hits the fan and bad things happen, like how do you deal with that?
Integrity, truly putting customers first, not worrying, knowing that like nothing that bad can really happen in this business.
Yeah.
Like if you're on pace to make a couple $100,000 this year, like if you got to pay if you got to pay a customer $5,000, like it's okay. Like we had a subcontractor's insurance certificate expire 7 days before he did a job for us last year, left a stain rag in the sun and burned down a bunch of a log cabin. And we had to pay $20,000 to replace the logs. It was a new construction log cabin.
Yeah.
And we paid $20,000 out of pocket.
Right.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, whoops. We're going to check certs.
We love your style, dude. We love it.
Do you do stain work? Like a lot of stain work?
I don't know. Not a ton.
Yeah. We try to stay away from it, but it comes up here and there.
Yeah. So look, it's just learning lessons. And like, I've done it long enough to know that me being stressed about it doesn't change anything. It only makes it worse. And it damages my quality of life. And I've just got a commitment to my quality of life. So like, I'm violating my own integrity to get upset about anything.
Absolutely.
Like, look, okay, and any time a customer's upset, like I just put myself in their shoes and I get as upset as they are.
Yeah.
And I'm the one to make it right. So I just go and make it right, and I enjoy the process of making it right. And I like that. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, those are the main questions we really had. Oh, and one other one real quick.
Yeah.
When you have subcontractors, do you always have like a couple backups lined up just in case you lose one?
You should. We've got, right now we're only producing we're not really producing because of the weather right now, but we will probably be producing like 80 or 90K a week the next few weeks. And we have the production capacity to produce 125. And then with the extra subs we could bring on right now that we already know and trust, we could produce 160 a week.
Wow.
So we're like focused really heavily on marketing. And that's just with Foothills.
Awesome.
So we're focused really heavily on marketing and sales right now to get these subs busy because we care about them and we want to make them money. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, a couple last little notes is I would say with getting that production number down, that 50%, 55% to 50, it's tough to know if it's actually your pricing,
right,
or if you're just being taken and out bluffed. See, I know by now that our prices, I know they are good.
Yeah.
And here's how you know they're good. Stop negotiating and see if they'll do the job for the 50%.
Yeah.
If you look, my guy was on the phone. He's like, hey, you don't want to do it for this price? Okay, cool. Yeah. So Paul, he doesn't want to do it for this price. So I'll just call this other sub. And the guy goes, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, yeah, you just showed your cards, buddy. I know, I got you now. I got your number.
Yeah.
So, and it's not about me squeezing them. It's about just me not being taken advantage of. And, there's ways to that these guys can be more efficient. So I do want to figure out how can I make my subcontractors make really good money? I'm not trying to squeeze them. I really value them, but I also need to know that I need my business to be profitable.
Right.
And for it to be profitable, I need to make sure I'm charging a price and paying the right price. And I know I'm charging the right price.
Yeah.
If they're not making money at that price, they're not being efficient somewhere.
Haha.
So
we say that all the time.
Yep.
Ah.
And then one last thing is, what do you see your percentage as far as business being done on interiors versus exteriors? Like just a random thought. Is it 25% interior, 75 exterior? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm probably at, probably something like that. 80-20 probably next year.
Okay. Cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, well, we won't take up any more of your time, but whenever
I
you
just don't want to leave Adam hanging. Yeah, we could talk for a long time, but you guys are doing good. Just take your time with the next step. Also, as soon as you guys are comfortable with it, sign up for Breakthrough Academy. That's like this call, but it's not rushed, slower every 2 weeks and 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to do it. We just want to make sure that we have the funds there because when we were going to sign up, it was January and we weren't making any.
Totally. No, totally. But that you guys are ready for that,
Cool.
especially once you get this one hire made.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have a lot more time too.
And also, thank you for everything, Eric. You certainly made such an impact in our business, and we are so very grateful for the experience.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Keep rocking, guys. You make me proud.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Bye.